It just means you really have to remember
What are we doing?
remember your landmarks. Yeah, so extensor carpi radialis longus and then extensor carpi radialis brevis. So big things to remember, we'll start with ECRL, right? So the big thing to remember is it comes off the second metacarpal. So ECRL, we're going to start on the second metacarpal and work our way down that metacarpal, right? Until we kind of feel this little groove here. So if you guys see, I'm second, right? I rock down it, you'll also feel some tendons there, but I kind of run into this groove here. This one's not too bad. These do extension, so if he just kind of relaxes his fingers, he doesn't want to go up like this, because if I go up like this, see how my extensor digitorum kind of pops up, these superficial tendons here, running here. So I don't want him to spread his fingers out like this, so go like that, because then spread it all the way out, go like that. See how his extensor digitorum pops up? So I'm going to have these relaxed, and I'm just going to go down the second metacarpal here until I kind of feel this groove right here, right, and then pull up. And I can feel that extensor carpi radialis longus pop up. Now, the thing that's going to could be a little confusing for you guys is paying attention to, like, am I on EPL, am I on extensor carpi radialis longus, or am I on ED? So the big thing is remember coming down that second metacarpal until you come into that groove. And then sometimes people have them kind of go like this and extend up. So if I'm walking down the second, this is the EPL. You can feel the tendon kind of right in here. So that's the ECRL, and I'll help you guys with it a little bit more in a little bit. Now, ECRB to me is the harder one to feel. So for this one, you go down the third metacarpal. So I'll come down the third metacarpal, relax for a second. I come down the third, and I'll find a little slot here. The thing is about ECRB is since the extensor digitorum kind of almost, depending on the person, kind of almost seems like it crosses over it, then sometimes it can be hard to feel. And it's a little bit of a flat tendon. The ECRL will pop up into your fingers, but the ECRB doesn't necessarily pop up as much. So you kind of have to go down that third metacarpal, feel in this groove, and then when you do your motion, just feel for that movement between your fingers here. So if I have them pull up, I'm in the groove here, and you can feel that flat tendon a little bit deeper. So relax for a second. And see how I can feel the extensor digitorum here, but I'm kind of going in this groove, in this slot, and now he pulls up and you feel that flat tendon in there, okay? So that's ECRL and ECRB. So we'll practice those as we go. Now extensor digitorum, this one's pretty easy. If he just extends his fingers here, then you can see these superficial tendons here. This is ED, extensor digitorum. Okay, so let's look at extensor carpi ulnaris, and then we'll do the indices and digiti minimi. So with extensor carpi ulnaris, probably the easiest way to palpate it is to kind of do this ulnar deviation motion. So for extensor carpi ulnaris, if we're coming down the ulnar side of his wrist here, and we kind of run into this ulnar head here, and you have the ulnar styloid process, which you guys will practice over there. But if we come just distal to that onto the tendon here, so you see that big bump here, mine's pretty prominent, his is pretty prominent too. If I just come distal to that, right in that slot, and resist this ulnar deviation here, I can just feel that tendon pop up. So I can put like this, go into ulnar deviation, and I just, pretty easily you can feel that tendon as long as you're kind of on the dorsal side and just come distal to that ulnar head. Okay, so extensor indices and extensor digiti minimi, these ones are, depending on the person, sometimes it's easier to feel than others, but it's also one of those places you want to remember, are they more medial or lateral or whatnot. So they are, if we're looking at from the ulnar versus radial, they are more on the ulnar side. So we'll look at extensor digiti minimi first. And we can do it like this, up like this, and sometimes you can feel it, like I can feel his on both sides here. Or sometimes people go like this and put his fingers in like this and raise these fingers up. So the key for these is if you kind of just palpate, if you palpate the tendon here, we can palpate kind of on the radial side and you palpate the extensor digitorum, and then there's a split. If you kind of come to the other side of that tendon, then you're on the extensor digiti minimi, on the ulnar side. And then if we go on the extensor indices, the same thing. If we're on the radial side, then we're on the extensor digitorum, and if you kind of feel that split, if you come over to the ulnar side, you're on the extensor indices here. So, and depending on where, like I can feel his split right here a little bit. Do you feel that between? So yeah, go ahead and practice those ones, and just feel